obviously attracting visitors to a stand, whether it's a face-to-face show or virtual show. That's one of the main aims of you actually being there. But the approaches that you take to a virtual show are certainly different to those of a face-to-face traditional event. And we are delighted actually that Spotty Dog Communications, who are a PR agency who we've worked with in the past, and I know a number of you will already be aware of their work, they actually were exhibitors with us at the last show in June. And they used it as an opportunity to work out how those approaches would actually work best for them as an exhibitor. They've put together a short explainer video and some fantastic hints and tips. And it's probably far easier if they explain a little bit about how, the approaches that you need to take as an exhibitor. Just before we move on to the video, though, it's worth just seeing some of the range of companies that Spotty Dog are working with currently and have worked with. So they're quite well known within the industry, so they're really well placed. They've got this unique position as being, within our industry, but also having exhibited at Virtual Pet Index. So I think the video is coming on next. Hopefully.
We love helping clients maximise their presence at trade and consumer shows. But how can we make an impact with virtual events?
We're just back from attending our first virtual trade show, and we just wanted to share our experience of how the event format worked. So at the Virtual Pet Index, we hosted our own virtual stand and delivered an online training seminar. We found that these were both great ways to get connected with new people. So I'm just going to talk through now how the event works.
Visitors signed up to join the event at a dedicated event website. The show was live for 2 days, during which visitors could visit us as and when they wanted, first arriving in this virtual exhibition hall. From here, they could visit an auditorium where over 25 video seminars were scheduled across the 2 days, and network in a series of live chat rooms, and browse the virtual exhibitor area. This was our exhibition stand. On our virtual stand, we featured videos, info about Spotty Dog, and ran our Take the Lead challenge, which we specifically created for this event. People visiting our stand could live chat with us, and we also appeared in the auditorium, delivering our Telling Your Brand Story through video seminar. Outside of the event, we are also active on social media.
We had a really positive experience and would recommend the virtual show format to any of our clients. To make sure you get the most out of the experience, we've got 5 top tips.
Tip 1. Create a reason to visit your virtual stand so visitors will feel they're getting something unique from attending the event. At this show, we ran a competition to guess how many steps our office dog walked in May, offering the incentive of an explainer video prize and a donation to Birmingham Dogs Home for everyone who took part. Tip 2. A virtual show format means you have to work harder to showcase your products and services, as visitors can't experience your offer in the same way. The virtual format means that you need a great video and collateral to tell your story better. Tip 3. Work social media hard. At our event, other exhibitors weren't using the show hashtag, so we were able to secure great presence outside of the show. We also live tweeted during our video seminar to promote our speaking slots and create a live event experience. Tip 4. Ensure you rota team members to man the stand. A virtual event can be very intense, as chats can happen at any time. Plus, you need to keep an eye and react to social media conversations. And tip 5. Have a follow-up plan. Often, real-world events miss this trick and forget follow-up communications after a trade show.
It's been great to share our virtual trade show experience, and you don't want to miss out on any more top tips from us, so make sure to follow us on social media and to subscribe to our Spotty Blog Extra newsletter.
The sort of things that you need to bear in mind. So obviously you need to create a reason for people to visit your stand, and you need to get that promoted long before the event. So for example, by running, as you would at a normal trade show, by running show discounts and things like that, you need to work your social media feeds quite hard to let people know, let your customers know that there's a reason for them to come and visit your stand at Virtual Pet Index. And if you're just running an offer on the 2 live days, then you've really got a window to kind of grab people's attention attention. They've also suggested obviously creating some specific video and marketing content which is really tailored towards Virtual Pet Index, just something quite short because people's interest wanes after sort of 30 or 40 seconds on a video. So consider putting something quite sort of short and sweet together and snappy, and uploading that onto your stand. I think Dan's already explained about the way that videos work on your stand. Again, just to reiterate about using social media, using your platforms, and not just relying on the show itself, but actually getting that going before the event and also during the event to actually drive people to your stand. Make sure you've got people to actually man the stand, in inverted commas. Obviously, you know, they're manning it virtually, but you can maybe put some sort of times in of when people are going to be there, so that you've got the right people on at the right times to chat to people. And then obviously following up, you know, as Nigel's already explained, you get a fantastic amount of data from exhibiting at Virtual Pet Index, and you really need to make the most of that. And so use every channel that you have at your disposal to follow up on a lot of the conversations you might have had, or the visits that you will have had to your stand that you might not be aware of at the time, but which you'll certainly see on all of the show data once the show is actually concluded. I think on the next stand up, and this is another thing, so your stand, we actually as the Pet Industry Federation put together some marketing assets for you. So when you're running your social media campaigns ahead of the event, it's really easy to slot some of these in onto your LinkedIn posts or your Facebook posts. There's an email one down as well. So we'll continue to produce these. These will be available on the exhibitor portal, which you'll have once you become an exhibitor at VPI. And we'll do some more of these as we go along. Just talk briefly about some of the features that we've got at Virtual Pet Index. I mean, obviously it's a trade show ultimately, but there are certain things that we're bringing in this time that we've learnt from having run it one previous show, of ways that we can actually improve and make your experience better as exhibitors, but also to hopefully drive more engagement with visitors coming to the show, and hopefully make sure that we get as many people as possible registering and logging on over the 2 live days. So just to run briefly through some of the new features that we've got. The new product showcase, we're just working on some of the mechanics of that at the moment, but it will certainly be around any exhibitors that have got a new product that they'd like to spotlight on, that like to highlight, emphasize. We're going to run something which will enable you to do that. And as I said, once you sign up to exhibit with us, then we'll be able to pass on some details about how exactly that's going to work. Groom Fair, we know that the grooming industry in this country is very active and very engaged. We've got quite a few of them in PIF membership, and we want to create something which is a little bit dedicated for them as well. So that will be probably a small hall which will have a number of grooming or wholesalers, manufacturers which are dedicated specifically towards the grooming industry. And we're going to call that Groom Fair, and we'll put a little bit of sort of separate PR around it to again really drive some interest to that particular feature of the show. One of the areas that we're going to improve this time around is actually going to be the lobby. The lobby is, as Dan explained earlier on, is the first bit that you see when you log onto the platform. We're going to try and make it have a slightly better layout. We're going to create more advertising opportunities. Those advertising opportunities, if you choose to take any of them, we'll charge a small amount for exhibitors to sort of be able to put their logo in them. But that will create a fast-track link straight to your stand. So it will be very easy to navigate from the new look lobby. We're also, on the next bullet point, we're going to limit the number of stands that we have in each hall. One of the things that we found, some of the feedback that we got from the event in June, was that we had a lot of stands in one hall. We had all 61. And obviously you've got to scroll through a number of different stands before you can actually find either yourself or a particular company that you're interested in seeing. So we're going to have more halls and fewer exhibitors in each hall, and that means that those exhibitors in every hall will have greater exposure, and that visitors hopefully will be able to find them a lot more easily when they're exhibiting. I put webinars on there as well. Webinars, they're not a new feature for this show. We ran them successfully at the last event as well. The reason they're really important is because the kind of range of webinars that we put together are aimed largely at driving visitors to the show. So we've got a number of different, both live and pre-recorded webinars that we're working on at the moment with very high-profile speakers. And once those are all ready to go and all lined up, we will push those on PR, and through that we will get a lot of footfall to the event, and that in turn will ensure that you will have plenty of visitors coming to your stand at the show. So webinars will be on sort of first aid. We'll do some retail focused ones on merchandising, and there's a whole load of them that we will aim at various different groups of our membership and the kind of people, the sort of visitors that we would expect to come to the show. So webinars might not be directly impacting on you as an exhibitor, but they're relevant because obviously the greater the range, the more interesting and exciting they are, then the greater the footfall to VPI itself. So I've put that on the end as well, because that is a very important feature to raise with you as well. Oh yes, and there's a little bit of information about the sort of things we're looking at putting together. I'd forgotten we'd actually put that slide in. So on a range of topics, some of them aimed at manufacturers, some of them aimed on sort of on the topic of animal welfare and on business support as well. One point that is just worth making, obviously the people who run our seminars, there's generally speaking, they're doing it independently. If you want to run videos that promote your own products, then as Dan explained, there's plenty of opportunity to run that through your stands. So the main webinar schedule will largely be sort of independent and hopefully, as I said, an interesting range for our visitors.